Somebody made a comment. I forget to even look at what's happening.
SHL Shock 95. Shell Shock 95.
Shell Shock 95.
21 straight strikes.
Down swing, and that's 8 Ks for Masterson. He's Iron Mike right now throwing strikes. He has struck out 8. He is now retired 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Justin Masterson Show. Take 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't know, but we know. But it's not just me. I'm your host, Justin Masterson. It's my guy, Mr. Matthew Zappizotti.
Hello, hello. Welcome. Good morning. Having fun.
Oh, we are having fun. Excitement. Snow's outside. It's cold outside. And yet we're here hanging out.
Yeah.
It's good times.
That's what we do. Started a little late today. My bad.
It's okay. You know what happens. Sometimes you get a little bit late. It's not the first one. My morning, not the first one. I wasn't trying to hate on you. Like, it's not the first time you've done it to me.
Which is true.
I was more getting the fact that even this morning already, I was meeting with somebody and they maybe happened to show up 30 minutes late to when we were going. But he did call me once he woke up a little bit later, alarms to go off, called me, and then we talked on the phone while he was making his way. So we still got to engage and hang out. And it was just, we were just kind of chilling, just to a little more get to know each other. He had some questions, a little bit of mentoring, if you will, in the scheme of it. So
that's fun. Well, I'm sorry if I'm you're 0 for 2 today on your friends.
That's all right. Some of my other friends just forget to show up sometimes. I've had it before. I asked my wife, not just Meryl, but I'll be like, do other people not put the things on their calendar and it not like show up? Because when someone tells me like, hey, this is what's happening, then it goes onto my calendar and like it is a priority in my life too.
Yeah, we talked about this from another friend we won't mention who we thought we had something scheduled last week, and then he was like, "Well, since I didn't hear from you, I added stuff. We're not meeting tomorrow." And me and you were like, "Oh, I thought we were meeting tomorrow." So whatever.
Right. And so I get it. Yeah, we personally did talk about this. It's just it's all part of it.
Do you have any stories recently about being late to something?
I do, but I'm saving that one. That one for next week.
All right. So I think that's a good idea.
Because I got a different one for this week.
All right. Is it time?
It's time.
It's all part of it, brought to you by the Justin Masterson Show.
And so with this one, I have video that
oh, wonderful,
that I want to show you.
Oh no.
And so now we're gonna cut to the video and it's gonna play. But we can still talk about it. But so we got video happening because I woke up.
Is that your house?
That's my house.
So,
I woke up and go to my office, and then I happened to look out, and something looked odd to me.
It's like a beaver went to town on the bottom of your mailbox.
It turned out that somebody just rammed right into it and knocked the mailbox straight over.
Ramrod.
And no note, no nothing. It's just me and the mailbox. And I was like, well, this is not the Saturday morning activities. About to go work out, but I see that. So then I changed. I'm like, all right, let me go out, see what's there. But what this also brings is the fact that God has blessed us with some incredible neighbors, because within about an hour and a half, 2 hours, the puppy's back up.
What?
Yeah.
They super glue that thing together?
No. So it just turns out that my neighbors, her husband was kind enough to ram into somebody else's mailbox.
Oh.
But instead of I think he just damaged the top part where the mail actually goes in. not the wood, but the lady who had it done wanted to have the whole thing replaced.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, cool. Order a new one, but I'd like to have the old post and everything in there. And so sure enough, my neighbor comes out and is like, hey, we've had to deal with this. We actually have a post in our garage if you'd like to use it. So it was kind of like, unpainted a little bit when it comes down to it on some certain parts. Well, what's even crazier is my neighbor was like, oh, I got the paint color. I'll paint it, but I'll probably wait because it's cold. I'll probably wait until like the spring when it warms up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then a couple hours later, she sends a text like, oh, I painted it. And I'll just repaint it in, the spring if I have to, for that type of stuff.
That's hilarious. Wow.
But yeah.
So if you were out of town that day, you wouldn't have even known. It would have been knocked over and replaced, and you wouldn't have even known it.
Potentially. Now, I did the work to replace it, but there is a chance that
they just saw it and took care of it.
Yes. I mean, if
hey, giving out full-size candy bars made a difference this year. You got some friends. Way to go.
For sure. But there was a little difficulty because, like the beaver looked like it was split in half. And so kind of dug up around the part that was still deep down in there. But I had my little pickmatics. And so I kind of chipped around the side. And then I took the like pointier side and like dug it into it. And I used it as kind of like a lever to kind of lift it up out. Because neighbor was like, hey, maybe you need to put some concrete in and then lay this in there to have it stay. Well, then once I pulled that thing out, I was like, I think I can just drop yours straight in there and this will be easy peasy lemon squeezy. And she's like, sure, go ahead and try it. Drop it in, push the dirt around it. Puppy doesn't move.
Wow. No concrete.
No concrete, no nothing.
I might know a friend who had this happen like 3 times in 1 year, and he might have rebuilt his brick mailbox with like reinforced concrete and rebar. I might know somebody.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
I'd say if that happened often.
Yeah.
At our old house.
Yeah.
The whole thing didn't get knocked, but like the edge of it.
Just constantly berating your mailbox at the old house.
Yeah. Well, because we'd find people's side view mirrors.
Yeah.
Just hanging out next to.
Yeah. Because then the one time you're like, why would you not stop and pick up your mirror?
It was like the whole back half of the mirror was sitting there. And it's like, wouldn't you want that to just easily could have just been put right back on there? There would have been no problems. But we didn't have cameras for this one, but we had, cameras at that house. And so you'd see it. You see it, little piece fall off. Then the person would stop. They'd always stop. And then you could like picture them just going, da, na, na, like thinking. And then they just keep on driving.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Oh, it's pure craziness. But
hey, it's all part of it. You did it.
It is all part of it. And I think as we think about all part of it, it kind of does flow into, our topic for the day.
Really?
Yeah. Thanks for that head nod as I forgot to change my.
Well,
I'm the one moving the cameras, people. So when they're not on, that's my fault.
What are we talking about?
Well, today we're on, it is actually Law 10, and it is Law 10 from Frank Viola's, what is his book?
Spiritual,
what? Oh
laws.
My goodness. 48 Laws of Spiritual Power.
The 48 Laws of Spiritual Power brought to you by Frank Viola. Not sponsored, but if you want to.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I went to Starbucks this morning.
What?
I was meeting with the person.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, who am I talking to right now?
No. Yeah. Come on. No. I went to Starbucks this morning to meet my guy. And my mind got so flustered. Not like flustered and like I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? But I was just I couldn't remember what I was trying to order.
Did you need the espresso in order to order the espresso?
So I walk in and I go, I get on my phone, and she's probably thinking I'm like looking at the app or something to like decide what I want to do. And I'm like, what's the name of the Indian tea that I get? I couldn't remember chai tea.
Oh yeah.
I had in the car, and then I walk up there, and it's got to be on the menu somewhere. It's not. What?
You're not the first one, I'm sure.
It happens to me, not like all the time, but it happens.
Remember to check your oxygen levels.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you're a big guy. It takes a lot of effort to get that blood flowing up there.
I mean, you think so, but most of the time, but it happens for a lot. I walk to another room and it goes. Shoot, even when I'm speaking or something, I'll have this idea of what I want to say. Well, I did it the other day. I had this nice thing that I was going to say, but it wasn't in like the script that I had. And then of course I totally forgot. I mean, that of course, happens in the scheme of things, but.
Oh yeah. No, I do it all the time. I did a devotion yesterday morning and forgot my ending prayer. And I just said, okay, thanks. Bye. And just like walked off. Whatever.
I know. I'm sure we're not the only ones. I'm sure, maybe you guys have it at home. Of course, my pops is always afraid, like his brother, had some Parkinson's tail end of his life. And so my dad is always like waiting for that. And so when he forgets stuff or does things, he's always like, oh, maybe he's getting me. And so I'm just like, I do this all the time, Dad. Like, haven't you done this, for most of your life? Doesn't other people do this? Like, just forgetting stuff isn't it? Because I feel like there was times back in the day, like not on purpose, but would forget to like pick up your kid or something.
Sure.
Like at times, I don't know if I've necessarily done that, because the calendar really helps me get to where I need to be. Typically to the right place, sometimes to the wrong place. But we're saving that for next week. But in all of this, this whole idea of whether people are showing up late, whether they're on time, whether they're doing whatever, in Law 10, it says, refuse to take offense. Refuse to take offense. And I think that's something that's really, really difficult. Of course, Frank is going to take this in a ministry way initially, and then we'll just kind of run and flow and see how it goes. He would say in ministry, people will call you horrible things just because. Like it just happens. Somebody's going to say something behind your back. Somebody's going to not like what you did. Somebody's going to have a differing opinion of whatever it may be compared to what you said or how you're going about it. And some of those things will sting. And many times you're going to be tempted to retaliate. But, he says, if you want God to use you in power, you must consistently refuse to take that bait.
The bait. Tell me more.
Yeah, well, I mean, have you been on social media much?
More than usual.
Okay.
So what that means is compared to the average person, maybe half of their average, but
yeah, for
me, definitely more than usual.
Well, I'm still probably a quarter or less than what you're doing. So.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, things pop on, and I might go on, Twitter, because that's the only one that's on there, and I have no like thing I'm looking for.
Yeah,
it is interesting the stuff that it puts on mine.
Yeah,
and what is on there is a lot of what feels like more, as they would say, clickbait, but even more so this rage bait.
Yes.
You heard that one?
Yeah. I think the kids like using that term.
The kids love using that term, and we maybe have talked about it on here. I don't know, but
yeah.
But either way, it's this idea, this rage bait, where they just put something on there, some things that people don't even like agree with or believe, just to like get a rise out of the people. And it happens all the time on social media. But I think it happens a lot in life in general. I don't know. Have you ever had any experiences where people are trying to rage bait you, or just bait you in general?
Yeah, it's manipulation. I in my naivety, I tend to fall for it, but then I do get angry about it.
So in your naivety, you like take the bait and just let it ooze inside of you, and then go and make a comment back?
Well, I try not to be controversial in that manner, but it depends on who it is. Yeah, for strangers, no way. Nah.
Like if they say something.
You can't get to me if you're a stranger.
Oh, okay.
No. But if you're like a friend or close friend, then I'll typically
You let them in.
I'll lean in a little bit. Yeah.
And you start getting a little like fired up.
I do. Why are you saying this? What's going on? Why do you
Well, I'm just asking you a question.
No, that's the way I'm feeling.
Whoa.
No, I feel that I don't easily offend, but when I do, I remember it's totally like a joke, right? But like we're Italian, and so you have like all these mafia jokes growing up, like, oh yeah, I'll call my uncle Guido and Ralphie, and they'll come visit you. You better watch out. And of course,
Right,
we don't know any of these people, or do we? But yeah, now we got some relatives in Cincinnati, and I know that they tend to like to take the trash out, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I do. I understand that.
But
I was in Rhode Island for a little bit in Pawtucket.
Okay.
And one of the guys there, when my brother came to visit and was talking about like, yeah, my brother was like, maybe be president of the United States. And the guy looked at him and was like, I know some people that can go to doors and they'll make them vote for you. I was like, all right, sounds great.
Yes. No, but the joke is like we'll get back at you when the time's right. I may be offended right now, but we're gonna let you just think you won this one, and then we'll come get you when you're not looking.
Yeah.
So it's a joke, right? But I tend to not, maybe I've grown up. I don't know. Maybe I haven't, but I tend to not like react as much in the moment. But then I stew on it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, what did they just do? Okay.
Okay.
Now we need to call some, I need to call that guy. What is his problem? And then I'll deal with it in my head later. And then it stirs me up.
Yeah. Well, so it sounds like it's something where initially you've gotten better at calming the things for the initial reaction.
Yeah. I'm usually like, you're just an idiot. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to respond.
But then there's moments where you then let it kind of stew.
But then I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
That bothers me.
What did this guy say?
And then I'm like, I thought he was my friend. And then maybe money's involved. Now it ticks me off later.
Ooh, as in like you paid him to do something or something along those lines, and it's like you're not paying out or you're not giving me what I expected. So now it's like, who do you think you are?
Yeah, unfortunately, I got this like right up here. Like if you're a contractor, it's just like I will pay you no matter what, like written on my forehead. And so yeah, guys, don't do their job, and I'm like, how many times have you been stiffed, contractor? A lot, right? So here you go. I'm gonna pay you right now. I'm not gonna stiff you. And then he stiffs me, and then it's like, oh, come on. How'd this happen?
But I think that's happening with everybody in some way, shape, or form. I know you for contractors, some other things, people, whether they're remembering to meet with me or not. I'm sure, even in our world, like Merrill has helped guide me on the ability to make sure that we say like thank yous, for the things that people have done within your life. Got our boy TC, where it was times where, people wouldn't reach back out to him, or he'd do really good at reaching out to people and they wouldn't reciprocate. And it'd become like, okay, fine. If that's the way you want to be, then it's about to get real. Like I'm about to put somebody in their place.
I'm going to erase you out of my phone book.
Right. And so I think that like this topic, we could probably go for a long time. We're not going to. I think we can handle it in just one show. But these next few laws that are coming up too, they all have this very practical bit of how we're doing life and living life, and how like this hits so much. I think we take way too much offense, and I wonder if it's because if we don't, we feel like we're being very weak.
Well, and we have pride, and so I put up some sort of wall, and then you've knocked it, and you've offended me. So offense, I am offended because you went on the offense. This is the same word, right? We're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why am I, I had something that in mind and you changed it. And so now I'm offended, but those maybe are easy ones. I mean, you think about like King David in Psalms, he's like, his enemies were real. His enemies were like family, friends, and then they wanted to kill him.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
that's very offensive. This isn't like somebody cut you off in traffic or took your place in line and didn't hold the door for you, and the many old things. This is so I've never really been offended on a level of deep resentment, that I can remember. I do have a little bit of a goldfish memory to these things, which I prefer.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Doesn't bother me to say that, but so actually sometimes like people like you or Emily will remind me, that person offended you in the past. Are you sure? And I'm like, they didn't, they didn't throw spears at me like King David.
Well, even with that, we get scripture. It says in one spot, blessed is he who is not offended by me. Jesus is kind of saying that.
Oh,
and so how is it that we're in the spot that this kicks in whenever God doesn't meet our own expectations? So I guess we did like the personal level, but like think of even the amount of people who have struggles with God in their lives, or the feel that he's not there at certain times. Like how dare you allow that to happen? Or how dare you let them have success and you're not allowing me to have the same success? And so it's like, man, how can we still not be offended of God in that sense? Because we may not use that word like, well, that kind of offends me. But if it was person to person and like, dude, how is he going to start? And I don't get to start, or how does he start? And he should be starting. Like that's offensive, man.
Does he go? Are we going to get into the story with the vineyard workers?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't necessarily go there.
Yeah, so that one comes to mind where you had a farmer, a rancher, whatever. He had a crop vineyard, and he hired some people to help him with the harvest. And they started that morning early. And he said, all right, here, I'm going to pay you $100, whatever the fee is. And they agreed to it, and they worked their tail off. And then about lunchtime, he goes into town and he says, we need some more workers. I'm going to go get some more. And so he goes into town and grabs a few more, and they said they'd come work. So he, drives his pickup truck back, and he says, I'll pay you $100 for working the rest of the day. And they said, great. So they start working, and then a little bit later, even more guys come towards the evening before they needed a final push. And he's like, I'm going to pay you $100 to finish it out. And then the first guys catch wind of all this, and they're pretty offended that they would work 10, 12-hour days. And these guys who roll in and work 6 or 4-hour or 2-hour days, and you're going to pay them the same amount.
Right.
And that's I know an analogy, and there's some like theology there, but just that idea of like, he was satisfied in the beginning of the day with the $100 or whatever the amount was. And then now he's super offended, really, really offended that his boss, like, maybe I'm going to quit. Maybe I'm never going to come back work for you, that you would do this to me. And like, really what changed was nothing affected his work. He actually got help. You'd think maybe his workload might've been even easier. I don't know.
You would think like, yeah, it might be less work for him to do, but it was all about the timing. But let's say the story of the prodigal son. It comes in where the son goes off, gets his inheritance, goes parties, has a heyday of a time. Of course, loses it all in the midst of partying. And when he comes back, father's like, "Hey, it's my son. He's back." And the son, the older son who's been there the whole time is just offended. He's like, How dare you go and do this? And of course, then as we're thinking about taking offense to things and looking at like, okay, let's turn the page and see what's a little bit different. And the father looks at him and goes, but you had all these things. Like, you've had access to all this. Like, the son's like, you never had a feast for me. You want a feast? We could have had a feast. You didn't ask for a feast. We're celebrating that your brother's back. And all these different things that come in. And he's like just so offended that the father would go show love to someone who's like, they don't even love you. Like, to Emily and I tell her, like, are you sure you want to work with them? Like, don't you realize what they've done? So to your point, you're able to go like, oh no, like, it should be fine. Whether they've changed or not, we'll see. But I'm going to give them another chance.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't personal in that first bit. So like, the ultimate thing here is just, how can the servant of God be unoffendable? And I think, I don't know if you remember this one, but we were in the locker room at Bethel, and there's like some tennis balls in there, and guys were just kind of tossing them back and forth, probably trying to hit some dudes in the places that
inappropriate areas.
Yeah. In those spots where it has a little extra pain. And I just remember that Marcel, big old Venezuelan dude, like, I think he just got like hit by one of the balls, and he goes over and he picks up the ball, and it's like from me to you right here, which is not that far across the table. And he tries to throw that ball, and I know it's a tennis ball, but as hard as he can at the face of whoever just threw it. And we're all just like, dude, Marcel, take it easy, brother. But he was so like, and again, like, whether we'd use the word offended, like, he was so offended, like, it just ticked him off so much that I'm going to take this ball and just throw as hard as I can. And I think that's what many of us do. That we may not actually pick up that ball and throw it as hard as we can as the next guy, but our mentality is that you're going to say something, well, I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back harder and faster and longer, so that whatever comes your way, you will think twice about messing with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Were you there for that one?
Yeah. I mean, I do remember that. He's a great guy.
Oh, he is. Love him to death.
No, it's true. And once we're all, our culture is in a one-up mentality. Like, we've lost the ability to de-escalate situations, and we just escalate so quickly. It gets out of control. You guys know, on social media. Is that why you were asking me about social media?
Oh, yeah.
The super offended people get, yeah.
Yeah, they sit on there, and it's either people are rage baiting, trying to get people to get to something, or people are really taking offense to a lot of things. And I go, what? And like, you're almost going to create offenses. Like, I'm going to walk into this place, and they'll probably do something that I don't like, and I'm going to have my camera out to make sure that I film it, so then I can try and entice them to be even more offensive, because I'm going to be slightly rude in the process. And then I'm going to go put this on social media so that other people can see how rude and offended it is, and then really just start people talking about it. Because then someone else is then going to take that, who wasn't even a part of that, put it on their channel with maybe a caption or a little bit of like narration to create even more rage bait going out there.
Yeah. I remember it used to be funny to like call somebody rude. You're like, oh, how rude. Now it like get you punched.
Well, that was, what's her name from Full House?
Oh, right. Yeah. Is that where that's from? Like,
how rude.
Okay.
That's the middle Tanner.
Yeah.
I can't think what her name
No wonder
is.
I had that. I'm
Show,
a 90s
DJ,
kid.
Stephanie, I believe that's, but
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. No, but it is, but why do we take offense?
Well, I mean, selfishness for one. We got to protect ours. And if it's a real thing, if it's actual betrayal, I mean, there's pain there. It hurts. You offended me, but it's more of like betrayal.
Yeah.
So it does depend on if this is from an outsider or from an insider.
Yeah, because we love taking things personally, and that's like what ends up leading to this like offense. It's like, how dare you? Which is probably those insecurities too that come in where we're not as confident about who we are. So even if we put on that face, like it just still erodes at us slowly but surely. And we don't know how to set boundaries in the scheme of it, because boundaries are not for them. It is for us, for those times to be able to adjust. Because this was something that I was thinking about when I read this, like to take offense and say, okay, I'm going to be unoffendable. So whatever you say at me, I'm just going to take it. But then I'm like, but is it truly strength when you're just getting beat down and beat down and beat down and do nothing? I kind of like was searching, like, is it the right suffering, to do it in silence, was kind of like what I was thinking through or thinking about when I was like, is that the right way to do it? Because that's what I was thinking in Unavoidable. Like, you're willing to suffer some of the pain that people give you, as you kind of alluded to, and not make a big ordeal about it. And so I searched this up online. It was like, oh, well, there's a line there, because although suffering without like complaining is good, if we suffer without speaking about it or talking about it or anything at any point in time, then it leads to isolation and mental health problems. So it's trying to navigate this like in between space of like, okay, am I being weak when I don't do anything? But then this idea of the boundaries kind of set in, where it goes, okay, somebody's coming at me, and there's a point where it's just like, okay, is this my self-preservation? And not like the negative, I'm just trying to preserve myself, me against the world. But I can handle this. I'm having an emotional, mature moment and not allowing them to get to me. Or is this on the verge of abuse?
Yeah. Yeah, you do have to be realistic when you've tried to redeem the situation and it's not redeemable. You absolutely have to put boundaries in. You have to separate yourself in a healthy way, and the other person's probably not going to understand that, and they're going to be offended by your defense,
right?
Boundaries, but that you can't reconcile with one party. So, yeah.
So when we get to the point that we're able to be unoffendable, it is something that I've told my athletes. Like, this is what I've told all of my athletes, because you're out on the court, and I'll tell you, I wasn't necessarily always that guy, but you got people trying, maybe basketball trying to pinch you or push you.
Elbows.
Yeah, elbows trying and entice you to do something out of character that would then what? Because you're like, oh, how dare you do that? Whether that's you yelling, screaming, getting up somebody's face. I mean, the other day we were watching basketball and a guy got a technical. Now, what was he doing? Trying to defend himself. But if it was a closer game, and it was a decently close game at the time, like, now you just got a technical because what? You're not backing down? And all of a sudden it's like, that's the style of what it is to not back down. It's like, but how do you be unoffendable? Let them do that. And when they don't get the response that they want or that they're hoping to get out of you, then what are they going to do? Nothing. Like, they'll try something else in order to entice it. But then when that doesn't work because you're unoffendable, then they have nowhere else to go. And so it's like, got you. And then I think in sports too, if like you just go compete and you do your thing, whether it's, in baseball, you're on the mound, you let it eat. But thinking about it in life, people are trying to throw some things out there, and what can you do? I mean, I think that's kind of, if we are unoffendable, this is what it means to you. This is why I think it matters, Mr. Matthews Appisotti. Do you want to know why it matters?
I really do.
Because one, there's a few things that it shows about you. It shows that you have emotional maturity.
That's it, man. Yeah.
And we talk about maturity all the time, be able to still act like ourselves, to be able to return to joy, keep relationships bigger than the problems, and endure hardship well. So this is a hardship that would be coming our way, and to do it well and still act like ourselves, that shows emotional maturity. And so we're able to, as someone else kind of put it, protect our peace. Have you ever heard that phrase before?
Yeah, that's that defense we were talking about.
Yeah, so we're able to protect our peace, which is our peace is Jesus Christ within us. But then it also shows that you have great self-control, which is something we're looking for. Like this is why it matters to be unoffendable, is what I'm trying to get at for you guys. It shows resilience, that you're able to take whatever comes your way and still act like your normal self in the midst of it. It shows that you have perspective, that you can, maybe that person is going through something. Maybe there's something going on in their life. It shows authenticity, which I put as like true strength, because you're able to be your normal self in the midst of all this. And then finally, for my little list of things I put together, there's countless other things, but this is my little list that I put together, is compassionate, which in my world of the emotional type of learning standards, it means you're not in enemy mode. Because so often, we've talked before, you don't like it, you take offense, goes into enemy mode, relational circuits are turned off, and now you have zero empathy or compassion for the person who's sitting across from you.
But if you stay above the situation, not offended, you can actually look at it as, I feel sorry for them in a way. I'm compassionate towards them. Not sorry as in get away from me, but as in, man, I wish I could help this person.
Yeah.
In the situation and dig in until you can't.
Exactly. And it doesn't mean you have to save everybody.
Yeah.
But what it gives you is, as I said, perspective. And so if we're people who are looking to be emotionally mature, have self-control, show resilience, perspective, authenticity, and compassion, well, which I think we are, well, then we need to learn to be unoffendable. And so you've already talked about a little bit of how to be unoffendable. I think it was Penelope Cruz, the actress, who said at one point in time, saw a video pop up somewhere, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Maybe I can insert it and have her say it again. But she was talking about the idea that when people are saying things to you or whatever, and I took it as this way, if we're trying to be unoffendable, act like they're speaking another language. Because if you don't know Spanish and I am calling you the worst of all things in Spanish, whether I say it with a smile or with disgust, I can be like, well, looks like you might not be happy, but I have no clue what you're saying. So, hey, thank you very much, right? You don't take it the same way. And so her premise was, like, why don't you act like someone speaking a different language that you don't understand when it comes to those type of things, which allows us to be unoffendable, because then we're just like, oh, I don't even know what you're saying. And so how can we, I say, how can we do that? I say, we need to do that when, if you had words to say to me that you meant harm for, that I'm like, oh, cool. I don't give it any value. I don't let it sift in there, because even if you meant it for harm, because I think it's a lot of times we take it and the person across the way didn't mean it for harm. Like,
we read into things a lot. Yeah.
Right. Which is another way that we can handle this, is to give the benefit of the doubt. Like, that's kind of, I think, the way that I'm moving in this. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you weren't trying to offend me, in the scheme of it, which I think, as you just said, we do the reverse. We're going to listen and be like, I think they did that on purpose because they're trying to get me. And we want to, we just want, I don't know what it is in us. There's probably more into us that we just want to be offended and want to be offendable, which is why I think this is such a great message that we need to sift through and think about. What type of people do we want to be? Someone that someone wants to be around and love to encourage, and someone who is just an enjoyable person. I mean, ultimately, that's what it comes down to in my book of things. And so how can we take a moment? And I got like 5 things that I put down. So maybe you can think about, something that, the way to handle it, which you gave a little bit, but I'm going to say 5 things and then give you a response of what you hear from these. Okay?
Bring it.
All right. So first one is the simple of this. Like, you just pause and reflect. You take a moment and you go, oh, let me process that emotion that's coming in and not react. Like, so So again, as all the things that we talk about, our goal is to not be unemotional. We're never trying to get rid of the emotions per se. We're not letting the emotions take us or get in control of what we're trying to do. So therefore, I'm going to like, oh, I feel this. Well, that really made me angry. Why am I so angry about this? So I'm not mad that I felt angry. I'm going like, no, I don't want this to take me someplace that I don't want to go to. And so then we can take the next, which is how do we consider the other person's perspective of like, oh, so they're angry and upset about something. I wonder what it is. So we're able to pause, reflect again, kind of those two together, but also go, well, I guess I could understand why that would fire them up so much. Now, in my mind, I go, I don't think they should have still responded in that way, but that is a part of what it is. And so then we can just assume, we already talked about it a little bit, but just assume the good. Or I'll kind of do like a duel with that. Assume the good / they're probably struggling with something, which I like to think of that one when it's like, okay, they probably didn't mean it that way, but I bet they're going through something right now, which we've talked about many times, whether you hit the cash register or other things, and people are just like getting at you and you're like, what did I do to them? Like that's the response that comes out. It's like, well, maybe you did nothing. Maybe there's something going on in that head of theirs that we have no clue about. And then we have the ability to respond with kindness. Like if our first response is to be kind in return, like that really, again, not every situation can have that be the factor, but if we can respond with kindness, then that keeps us what? Out of enemy mode. And we know that they're probably in enemy mode. And one of the ways that we can open up the relational circuits is for them to try and put some joy into their life, which is what kindness is. And then finally for us is how can we just reframe this as kind of a life lesson for us, kind of a learning point, which, I'll do when I see someone else do something, and you probably do too, or, anyone who's listening, they're like, oh, someone else's life. I can go, well, let's just see that interaction. And, they were just trying to do this. It's a great learning lesson for you as you move on. And then it happens to us and we're like, oh, I can't believe they do that to us. And we get offended. And so to be able to reframe that, like, oh, and I think for us, we'd say, like, what is God telling me? And what am I going to do about it? Like, am I trying to learn something in the midst of what's going on here, which really happens.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think
a lot for you there.
No, it's good. The bait really is from Satan. I think there's a book about that, which I don't necessarily promote or not promote, but there is this idea that it's constantly around the corner, and why we are so offendable. That is a good question, Justin. My only thing I'd add, I mean, you had great points, is I write about this in our Fight Club group, and I will not die on this hill, but people need to hear it. It's can you put down the need to be correct, the need to be right.
Yeah.
And I know that there are times, especially if this is a person you're going to interact with, a family member or a future friend, like you're not going to leave this person. It's really hard because they're, you're going to deal with that situation, and this is going to be brought up over and over. And so if you die to the fact I need to be right or correct and accurate, guess what? It's going to come back. You'll hear about it later. And so that's difficult. But in some cases, you just have to think, do I need to correct this person? Do those little facts actually matter in the big picture? Do I need to keep the relationship, as you say, bigger than the problem? And in these cases, bigger than the facts, because we're arguing or we're offended over things that that don't matter in the end. And so I'm just going to put those down. And so that, yeah, it's hard to do, but I think it's possible. And I think we can die to being correct, and you actually don't die. You actually get free from it. So
yeah, I think there is a lot of freedom that comes with that. So as we're getting to it, I want you guys to think. I mean, we're thinking about it right now, and maybe you are thinking about it, but I want you to think through, as we just had a little bit of holidays, we got some more holidays coming up. We're spending time with family. We're spending time with friends. Are you taking offense to a lot of the things? Are you preparing to go somewhere and don't even want to go because you're like, oh, she's going to say this and she's going to say that? And again, there's a part where you put up healthy boundaries, and there's moments where you say, whoa, did you mean to be rude to me right there? Because if so, that's not the way we do things. So I'm just going to not be a part of this. And there's perfect times to kind of walk away. But what I want us to think about is our identity. You're a part of this group. You're part of me and Matt and the rest of this club, whether you've been a part of Fight Club, whether you just watch the show and you hang out, or you've been in our lives in some way, shape, or form, even if we've never really met. Like, we want to be people who have emotional maturity, who show self-control, resilience, they have perspective, authenticity, and compassion. And so I want you and I and Matt to think through all those things and going like, is that a part of who I am? And if not, how can I continue to implement some things to be unoffendable so that can be a part of who I am?
It's a great challenge.
Let's go do it.
See ya.